We the best, no contest. We the best. There ain't no one like cause of you dumb or you crazy. There's no way, G. Me and my clique, we handling biz while you and your clique just act fugazi. You couldn't persuade me to give a damn, it just don't faze me. I got my Xbox, she can't play me. Money in a text box, I get paid. We the best. We the best, no contest. We the best. We the best, no contest. We the best. We the best. There ain't no rest. For the wicked, I'm bad and I'm blessed. Put it to the test. For the rest, there ain't no contest. So what's next? Got me leveling up, I'm obsessed. I bring the fire like I'm possessed. My personnel and my clique is the best. There ain't no contest. There ain't no one like cause of you dumb or you crazy. There's no way, G. Me and my clique, we handling biz while you and your clique just act fugazi. You couldn't persuade me to give a damn, it just don't faze me. I got my Xbox, she can't play me. Money in a text box, I get paid. We the best. We the best, We the best, no contest. My clique is the best. We the best. We the best, We the best, no contest. My clique is the best. We the best. We the best, We the best, no contest. My clique is the best. We the best. We the best, We the best, no contest. My clique is the best. We the best, no contest.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are live, and this time we are here with the ever so happy, the most gloriously expressive guest of all time. It is BG. What's up, everybody? Hey, what's up, BG? How you doing, man? You're looking blurry at the moment. I just saw your camera feed.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, well, hold on. I might be able to fix that. What up, chat? What's up, guys? Let me fix that. I am blurry. Let me do that right now. Hold on.
Oh, sorry, I should have told you the last 5 minutes we were live. Sorry about that.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Get all sharp.
Looking crispy now. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Good time for gaming. And bad. Good and bad.
Good and bad, huh?
Yeah, we got some good and bad. You know, listen, I'm able to see both. You know, some people can only see the negative, but I'm a nuanced perspective to see both and not jump out the window and think that everything with gaming is about to crash and shit. You know, like some people think it is. But
I feel like there's some people that think they are is one of your close friends there, VG.
Everything is horrible. Everything is disastrous. Everything is about to be destroyed and crash, and yeah, everything's fucked up, man. It's horrible.
You know what? I agree with the person that we both know you are talking about, and that's Jack Move, man. And I see you two go into it. It is Jack Move you're primarily talking about.
It's not Jack. Jack is actually creating a cult. But he's getting a few followers to his cult, and I'm really not only talking about Jack. Jack is just one of the larger, voices on this train, but it's not only him. It's really not. There's other people that believe that gaming is just at the worst point it's ever been, and he's indoctrinating more people to his, to his belief system, and I got to push back on it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm one of those believers. So you've just met. No, I'm not. I'm not one of those cult members. But this whole time, by the way, you were on camera. I didn't even realize. But it was just you on the screen. But we have. Well, I do want to quickly touch upon that because I think Jack is a misunderstood soul, man, and he is a misunderstood soul because. I'm kind of siding with Jack. You have this view, yeah, and you keep saying this. Like, we've had the best years compared to the PS4 in its first 3 years. You didn't have nothing. You had Bloodborne later. Fair enough. After 3 years, you had Bloodborne and all of that shit. But in the round, yeah, you're comparing it to the PS4 year. But as a gen, as a whole, do you think we've had a generation that's, in your opinion, delivered on the frontier of current gen? Or are you just solely comparing it to the PS4 gen?
So you talking about like the quote unquote next gen feeling that a lot of people talk about.
Which is what Jack is alluding to all the time, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've never like really subscribed to the whole definition of what is next gen, what feels next gen. To me, it's just high quality games. That's really always been my thing. Like, I've been on YouTube a long time. People have never really seen me talk about like, oh, this game looks next gen or not. To me, it's just the game is high quality or low quality. And I just think like games that, for me, I just think games that are just high quality games, I consider them more or less next gen. It's. I
mean, that doesn't make any sense. Why is it next gen? Just because it's quality? The quality is not gen.
I mean, that's just what matters to me. Some people qualify it as, oh, they're doing something with this game that couldn't be done before or hasn't been done before. That to me, that's not really what matters to me. I don't really care about that much.
Well, what you say you don't care about is essentially the development of gaming going forward. Because you're saying you're happy with gaming in the current way it is now with the physics, AI, all of that shit. As long as you just deliver quality experiences, even if it's the next gen, the PS6 delivers God of War Ragnarok and all of that stuff. Same mechanically, the same. And you were telling me that's okay? Like, it's going to be the same and you'll be
as long as the games... Yeah, as long as the games are really good, I don't really care, because I also think we're near the ceiling of video game development. I could be wrong, right? But I think we are very much near the ceiling of, bro, there's not that far game development can jump to, right? We saw the jump from how games were made PS3 to PS4. You know, PS1 to PS2, PS2 to 3, you know, everything. But I think we're just kind of like leveling out where we're hitting the roof, and there's not really that far it can go from here. I think it's just diminishing returns at this point, where even regardless if there's physical consoles or not, next generation, the generation after, that's kind of what I think it's going to be like. I think games are just going to play the kind of the same, just really well. I don't think it's just going to be this ongoing innovation and new things in gaming that we've never seen before. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of that.
So you're actually quite in agreement with someone I'm not really a fan of, but Colin Moriarty. He also says that you've hit the ceiling there, and that's basically it. And now he wants to see quality experiences. And I've heard that argument before. I don't agree with that. And this is where the big disagreement. I don't think you or maybe it is communicated, but when I watch Weapon Wheel, I feel like Jack just gets molested before he even gets this word out on the point where he's trying to say, I can see what you're saying, but you are just like so relentless in not... I'm on Jack's team, man. I'm sorry. And I agree with Jack. I know what Jack's trying to say. Like, okay, fair enough, you get your Returnals or whatnot. Elden Ring is probably one game I could say in terms of scope, like it did on a... Let's be honest, mechanically, it's quite simple, but it's blown the concept of, you know, Demon Soul, Soulsborne really wide apart in a beautiful, incredible world. And it hasn't done anything mechanically. But I'm of the view, and I keep asking this question, what's happening with AI? You're saying you're happy with AI? Bro, AI in games right now is dog shit. It's dog shit. You gotta play Ghost of Tsushima.
It's not the best, but...
I mean, but how can you say that the gaming has healing ceiling when AIs don't even have the most basic AI routines? When Halo from Halo CE has AI that can still... like, it's better than some first-person shooters, man. And like, even Warhammer, I will talk about that in a bit. Bro, the AI has not hit anything. Like, we haven't even come close to realistic AI. If you do a Ghost of Tsushima mission where you're doing an escort mission, like the enemies won't even see the people you're carrying. It's not even The Last of Us, which is heralded as a great game, like, for its AI, but it has very strict AI routines. We haven't seen anything the size of World of Warcraft in terms of a massively multiplayer online game. I want a big Mass Effect Citadel multiplayer world with other people, like just abundance of people in a massively multiplayer online game. And when I watch a movie like Pitch Black and we talk about see that ship crash, I want to see some real-time shit. And that's the shit that gets me excited, man. And that's the shit that gets my dick hard. And I don't see it. And that's when I see next gen and the move towards, you know, next technology. That's what I want to see. I want to see in my lifetime the potential that we have. And I'm enjoying gaming. I'm not going to say I'm not enjoying. I'm not going to be one of those people like, gaming is shit and I'm going to hang myself. None of that shit. I'm really enjoying gaming more than last gen. I would say I'm enjoying gaming now because I think this is a stronger gen already, to me personally. By the way, do you think this is a better gen, this gen, than last gen so far?
Just in general?
Just in
all
general.
Games released?
Just in general. Yeah, all games.
Yes. To me, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I think people always look at the former thing with like this positivity and this love that they didn't have for it in the moment. Okay. Right? Because bro, I'm on YouTube and I remember all these moments in time because I've documented it, right?
Yeah. People
talk about the PS3 gen now like it was the best fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
Bro, I was doing YouTube at that time. People fucking hated it. So when people talk about the PS3 now, I'm like, what? I'm like, where were y'all then? Like, the sentiment of the PS3 was fucking horrible. People, like, it was just nothing but negativity for the first 3-4 years. They had some, like, you know, hits coming, and some good games, but the overall sentiment for the PS3 was dog shit. Yeah. So when people look back at it now, oh, it was the greatest thing ever, I miss it. I'm like, bro, what? So, and the PS4, people forgot the first few years of the PS4, it was dry.
Yeah.
And that's where the name Sparse Station came from. Indie Station came from.
Yep.
So people act like the PS4 just got off to the races with nothing but bangers and nothing excitement. I'm like, yo, revisionist history once again.
Yeah.
All revisionist history.
That's true.
That's why I push back when they make it seem like, oh, this is the worst gen, and no, those gens were better to you because you're looking at it from a complete generation, all 7-8 years.
Yeah, consolidated into one idea in your head.
Exactly. You're thinking about the first 3 years of this gen versus 8 years of that gen. It's like, come on, man. It's very rose tinted glasses. It's very rose tinted.
It's true.
And it's not like I think this generation is perfect. It had a shit ton. It's had a shit ton of bad things happen. So did the PS3 generation. It was a shit ton of horrible things that happened. That came out that was bad for the gamer. All the shit with like loot boxes and battle passes starting and microtransactions. That started during that gen, and people hated it. People, the same thing that people say about this gen, they were saying then there when those battle passes and microtransactions and loot boxes, they're like, oh, this is the worst time in gaming ever. Look at, come on, man. It happens every generation. People just don't remember.
No, it's true. I agree with you that there is a complete like kind of distortion and revisionist history to suit a narrative there. But I would say, like, generally, I agree with you that when you compare the two gens, because I was on YouTube I say roughly around YouTube on and off, trying not to get arrested. But I was on YouTube at the start of last gen and watched it on the forums and all of that. And I distinctly remember a lot of, because I was covering gaming on a website with Game On Daily, and I remember I did a clickbait article when I said, just to piss off the PlayStation guys, Xbox wins 3 holiday seasons in a row. And everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I was there in terms of gaming, because the PlayStation hasn't given us any games. It was only Bloodborne that actually saved it. People don't remember how it was a shit launch. Like, I moved to PS4 and then I switched. After a week, I got bored. And like, there was nothing on PlayStation. And the Order 1886 was basically today's Concord, which we'll talk about in a sec. But like, it wasn't that great. And in that sense, I agree with you that generally, I think gaming has given me some incredible games already. But we are in year 4. I think year 4? 4 years? 3 years? 3.5?
It's 3.5 because 2020, the end of 2020 is when it started. So yeah,
so
3.5.
Yeah. So I shout out to Nerds and Other Legends. Thank you for the $10 super chat, because I think part of the problem with this generation is risk aversion. I agree with you. When a single game can tank an entire studio, that's part of a symptom of budgets, I guess. Publishers will look to chase trends, but those that ride waves will really make waves. And we're seeing a lot of that. In fact, we'll talk about a big culprit in riding the wave very, very soon. But I wanted quickly to get your thoughts on this one, because I didn't get a chance to speak about this with Gene Park. Gene Park was saying, by the way, this is going to be a great week for you. This is the perfect week for you. After you were lambasting, thank God for you, bro, with Concord. Someone from the PlayStation side was talking about it. Actually, let me go into Concord now. Bro, look, I'm a troll. I concede on Twitter. I troll with my YouTube video. People don't understand the satire. You understand that, other people don't. But I troll hard. But I will give the flowers where they're due. But Concord was not the one. I played it for like 10 minutes and immediately knew. I forced myself to play it for an hour, man. When you force yourself to play an hour, you know this game is ass. And bro, there's just nothing there. There was nothing there. So I thought in unison people would agree. But in terms of content creators, well, talk to Wooly, Barry, and Persona, please. What's wrong with them? Have they got brain damage? Oh, they got shit tasting games.
Shout out to them. Great guys. I do think. Listen, I think they probably look for the positive in a lot of things, and in those games. I don't give most games that benefit. I'm very like straightforward. You know, I'm not looking to I'm not looking to make anybody feel good. I'm not making it make anybody feel bad either, but I'm just straight with it.
Yeah.
I think the game was a flaming piece of dog shit. I played it for like the same thing. Listen, when it comes to multiplayer games specifically, I don't think it takes very long to know if the game is good or not and to know if you like it. Single player games are a little bit different because, you know, there's things you can unlock. There's things that progress throughout the game that can change the experience.
Yeah.
Multiplayer, for the most part, what you are playing, and especially the core of the game, is essentially going to stay the same. There's some unlockables and things like that. It's usually cosmetic, but what you get in the beginning is what it is. So you don't got to play for 2 hours to know if the game is good or not. Bro, 30 minutes in, I was like, yeah, this is not it. This game sucks. This game is heartless. It's soulless. It's shallow. It's boring. It's unsatisfying. There's nothing special or unique about it. It's literally the product of chasing a trend, as the super chat mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
This is literally just chasing a trend.
Absolutely.
Instead of trend setting, which you should be doing.
Absolutely. There was the development of this started around, but they say 8 years, and 8 years is around about when Overwatch was released. So like, oh wow, well, that's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it? And what have you spent 8 years for? And I don't understand. Herman Hulst, Sony, you know, we all give props to Sony, has some quality assurance. But does this mean, BG, that Sony has a weak point in terms of assessing quality when it comes to multiplayer titles and multiplayer studios? They're that desperate?
Yeah, I think so. I actually like Herman Hulst because he's he's the creative side of things. So that's a game developer. That's why I like the whole two CEO things, one for creative and, you know, looking over watching the games, and one who's taking care of the business. But there's clearly a blind spot that he has, because I imagine that Herman Hulst, he seems to be somebody who plays games to me, but he probably plays all single player games. I don't imagine Herman Hulst having much experience in actually playing many online multiplayer games. So I would imagine he doesn't really have any experience to compare it to. So that's why when that tweet, when he put out that tweet a bunch of years ago about Concord, said, oh, I played Concord, I had a bunch of fun with it. He probably doesn't really have his finger on the pulse of what makes a good multiplayer game. He's probably just looking at it as a game. But you have to analyze it as a multiplayer game, which is something very different. That's very fucking different.
But he said people would enjoy that game, and but you know what? I can almost see why, because the polish was there. Well, I guess the polish comes at the end of a title, but the core mechanics, everything was just there, but it just didn't mean anything. So I think you're right. I think he has, and I think Sony has a wider problem. If he can't gauge good quality multiplayer like you're suggesting, maybe that was one of the things that contributed to the decision to buy Bungie, because they just don't know multiplayer. Is it? I have vouched for Sony, BG. Every time I vouch for Sony, I get murked. I vouched for Naughty Dog, and I even tweeted it out. I said, you know what? Watch out for the factions, because if Naughty Dog just doing pure multiplayer, that's going to be mad. And the factions was really good, the multiplayer mode on the first game. I actually really enjoyed it. So I thought these guys going to take it to another level. And then everything, you know what happened. But do you think Fair Games and Marathon are going to smash it? Do you think, is your gut telling you that those games are going to be good?
Here's the good news. All right? It's not really good news, but it's good news. It's not possible to do any worse than Concord. It's not possible. Like you can't possibly make it. Even if you tried, I don't think you can make a game that has 600 people to play it at launch. It's no fucking way. You can't do it even if you tried, right? That's the only positive thing in any of these. But I don't have necessarily any faith in. I'm indifferent. I don't have any faith in them really, because Jade Raymond is behind Fair Games, and that's pretty much like a Ubisoft studio, essentially. But Jade Raymond, you know, her history seems to me is like, I'm always around all the successful people and the successful games. And so people attach some of that success to me, but it doesn't really seem to be by her hands.
Yes.
She's just around successful people, and people think it just rubs off on her. So I don't know. I got to see more.
And she's fit.
And with, oh yeah.
And that's why it helps. I'm telling you, that's how Bonnie Ross got the job. I
Yeah.
guarantee you she has an affair with Phil Spencer. That's how she got the job. I'm telling you.
And then with Marathon, it's another freaking question mark. You would think Bungie would be the ones to get it right, but I really don't know anymore. But I think, like you said with Herman Holst, I don't think they have, and this was supposed to be Bungie's purpose. They're supposed to be like the consultants of multiplayer for Sony. But I think they need somebody that's very like disconnected and not close to what they're doing to just look at the multiplayer games objectively, who don't have a stake in the games, to be like, bro, this game is complete dog shit or this game is good.
Yeah.
Just somebody who's like a gamer and in the multiplayer, like maybe one of these big streamers who really just has a pulse on what's good and what's bad.
It's better than
Is better than nothing, because it's just the executives that are analyzing it and like, yeah, I don't know shit.
Yeah, but that's a good point actually, because Naughty Dog, Sony sent Bungie out for a reason, and Bungie, like they say, Sony thought, Bungie, we don't have anyone. Bungie, do you want to have a comment on whether or not Factions is good? And they obviously caused it to tank it, but then they had a hand in Concord, which is another problem, because then they clearly don't know. And Marathon, according to Jason Schreier, has now pivoted to hero shooter. I'm not writing them off, by the way, BG. I'm not writing off anyone, because if you can get a core game mechanically, like just even the feel of it, right? Like, and it's just feeling, and you get good coders on that, and the feeling of it, the snappiness of it, and that's it. Boom, you can get. And I don't know what constitutes the success. It depends on the budget. But I'm not writing them off. I like that Sony's doing the gas pit. I genuinely do. This is what I wanted from competition, but I think that's going away, which I kind of want to get your thoughts on as well, generally. Before I do, let me just read these super chats from Game Seeker. Thank you for the 5, because games most haven't looked better this console generation. We just need that consistent 60 FPS. I'm seeing a lot of that now, people heralding frame rate, smooth frame rate as the next thing. It's true. I think I've been playing Warhammer as well, and I'm grateful for its performance for the most part. Verge Bizzle, thank you for the $2 super checkers. They look for the positives if it's a PlayStation exclusive. I don't know what that means. Who looks for the positive?
He's probably talking about like when we were talking about Bari and
Bari. Yeah.
Probably,
I mean, look, we all have biases. Me and you, I think me and you are quite different in that we will shit on the brands that we like.
Shit on anything.
Yeah, we shit on anything. Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me.
Exactly. And I just didn't understand the praise, and then just, Bari, I think, is a lot of trolling, but Persona said, farewell, Concord. And I'm like, bro, are you fucking joking, bro? What are you doing, man? He's blocked me. So I saw it through a third party. But it is what it is. But, bro, no game has failed in 11 days. 10 days, 11 days, dead. Like, they announced the death of this game. This is a worse fail than Redfall. Let's be honest, man. This is a bigger fail than Redfall, surely.
This is their biggest first party flop ever in their history.
And Xbox guys, you got a gift just before Astro Bot. You got a little gift. Just squeeze that juice in the final remains of whatever we constitute the console wars. But yeah. Rambling Entertain, thank you for the $10 super chat, man. He goes, what Sony needs to do is get into gas that have enough space for new ones to enter. A Monster Hunter Horizon ARPG with God of War and survival, The Last of Us. Play into their strengths, writing and presentation. Oh, okay, so kind of like a little mishmash. How about, BG, just give us a normal bog standard multiplayer mode? Who says that can't work anymore? Like, why has the industry decided that that's not profitable anymore? Like, every game has to last forever? Like, do you think that's the case? Like, are we out of touch? Someone said, oh, it's because of budgets and this is why you need to make a game a gas game. But I don't think that needs to be the case. I think a bog standard multiplayer tactile mode like we traditionally did, like with Uncharted, with The Last of Us, with Gears of War, with Halo, that will work. But
yeah,
I don't know why no one does it anymore.
That's what I want. Some people believe, oh, that can't work. I think it'll absolutely easily fucking work. But from what the experts say, the reason why a lot of the decision makers are not wanting to go down that route of just your non games as a service route that's supposed to last 10 years is because they want that long-term, permanent, ongoing money, right? But my thing is, y'all are still losing money. Y'all are losing more money in the process of chasing that.
Yeah.
So why not just do things the way they were done before? You can still put microtransactions in those games. They were still putting microtransactions in games last gen and 2 gens ago, and all of these games weren't games as a service. You could still make a bunch of money from them.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be this huge games as a service only thing. Like, I'm like, yo, it could just be your traditional, your basic, your classic, how things were done, and you can make a ton of money from it. I really don't see it. I think they look at the rest of the industry and think, oh, it's being done this way, so it has to be done this way. I'm like, I disagree a lot, and I think that whoever starts to do that again will see, like, yo, this is viable. This is profitable.
I was going to ask you that, like, do you think the industry is going to, like, I mean, this is sending a warning signal surely to everyone. Fair games developers and marathon devs, amongst other gas developers, will be looking at that, or multiplayer developers will be thinking, like, holy shit, maybe we don't need to do this, because remember, Naughty Dog said, having spoken to Bungie, they realized, and in their press statement, they said that the resources that they would need to commit to this multiplayer game to keep it going would have been prohibitive for them. So they had to go back and just do single player. There you go. The proof is in the pudding. It's like you said, it cost them more manpower in terms of just trying to get this infrastructure. Just do it. And my suspicion is this, is maybe born out of more hope or wanting this than anything. I think you're right. I think one or a couple or a few developers will suddenly start doing traditional multiplayer. Sell the cosmetic like it's a battle pass. Let's send, bro, I'm a cosmetics whore. If you do a multiplayer, bog standard multiplayer for freaking Warhammer, which we'll talk about in a bit, and you send me that shit, I would have paid for it. Man. Just make my Marine look sick. For multiplayer, for PvP, like standard PvP, I would do it 100%.
Yeah, for a game, multiplayer game, I like, bro. I buy everything I want. Spend a bunch of money. Like, I have no problem with it. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, I think they're going about it the wrong way. Specific PlayStation and others who are pursuing the whole games as a service thing. I feel like they're trying to make like the games as a service game that makes millions and millions of dollars, instead of just making a game that coincidentally just also happens to do that. It was, making it with that purpose, like, oh, this is supposed to be the game that makes millions of dollars, and constantly. That shouldn't be the way you develop the game. Make a good fucking game, because I think making a good game at the core is the answer to it all. I think that's the core of it all. And then the other things you want will come with that. But you having it in your mind while you're developing the game, that's your logic and that's your theory around developing the game to make all this money. I think that's going to lead to the opposite. I think if you, like, bro, Fortnite was an accident.
Yes, it was.
Fortnite was an accident. Fortnite wasn't made as this game, like, oh, Epic was like, oh man, we're about to make a shit ton of money off this. Nope. It was a tower defense game, and they saw
what PUBG did.
They saw what PUBG did, and it's like, why not make this shit as a side project? And it turned into one of the most profitable, most popular things ever in gaming history.
Yeah,
that's it. And you could. Yeah, and the quality was there. Like, most of these shits is kind of PUBG. That game games is technically like a mod, but they didn't make that game like, oh, PUBG is about to make a shit ton of money and be the most popular game, one of the most popular games of all time. Most of these games were not made with that intention. They just happened to do that.
And
so they're going about it wrong.
you're absolutely right, man. I feel like when game devs go in to try and pitch a game idea, it sounds like they're telling investors that this is going to be the next big thing. This has the potential to be that zeitgeist, the next big thing. If we get the Fortnite crowd, this and that. And it's just, no one's going back to the kind of developers are just like, you know what it is, BG? I'm going to get cancelled for saying this, bro. It's like the new gen of developers, bro. Have you seen like the vidocs? Like you see all these like people with like purple hair just in tricycles around corridors,
hipsters,
bro. Yeah, the hipsters, developers, bro. I'm telling you, I've seen the game devs. I went to Ubisoft Studios. I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, give me your fat guy who has type 17 diabetes, bro. I know for a fact this is the shit he loves. And you know what game that made me feel like that? Warhammer. Warhammer devs, if you're not fat, forgive me. But it's not just the weight. I'm just saying, just like the old school nerds who used to make the games, man. And I feel like there's a lot of, that's just like weird. If you go see game devs now and see that day before, you just saw a different type of peeps, man. They're just like, let's just get these. I don't know. I'm hoping that's not the case, because that means then we're resigned to game developers and games like this being shit for a while. But I think the market is also pretty ruthless. So we're finding this course correction, and a lot of people will be crying. Yeah. Your best friend Paris Lily cries a lot for developers.
Brother, so many tears. So many tears. It's hurtful. Oh, our hearts. Oh, we can't take it. Oh, the developers.
Bro, what would happen if I invited Paris Lily right now to this chat?
I mean, you could. It wouldn't matter to me.
I would just sit back. Bro, I wouldn't have to say anything. All I would do, I'll just throw a little grenade in there. Say, Paris, why did you block? Why don't you like BG? And then
he wouldn't come though. He's sworn off any association with communicating with me because of some made up bullshit he said I did to him, which was completely false. But yeah.
Why are you the cancer of gaming, BG?
Why am I the cancer of gaming? Probably because I tell the truth about shit, and I don't pull, I don't try to filter myself and pull punches and be politically correct and be a positivity merchant like he is. Oh, everything is, let's be positive, let's be nice to each other all the time. The guy has never really, properly criticized anything for real. I mean, he's too closely associated with the people who the people who make the products that he judges. So how can you really judge Xbox, any of the developers, not just developers in the industry in general, when you're close friends with them? You can't do it. I'm sorry. You can't fully say what you think about a game and be 100%. And also be friends with them.
And be friends with them. Yeah, that's what
you can't do it. So
that's what I say to Colt. I was like, and I always thought, bro, me and him in the years that I've known each other have so many arguments. But I will rate Colt. Not once when I was on his show as a co-host did he tell me not to say anything, and I said pretty outlandish things like I normally do, and he never sort of stopped me. But at the same time, it's the same problem. I think Colt, me naturally, because you're there with them and they're your friends. I don't know if they have friends. I don't know what happens behind the closed doors, but that kind of compromises things a lot. And then you need to have a certain kind of personality. Now, I do feel like Paris. I love Colt, man. He's like one of my best friends. But that in terms of content creation, and you and I have this very. A lot of people will call us toxic. A lot of people will call us abrasive. A lot of people, we don't pander to that bollocks. I'll be honest with you, and I take pride in that. Like, what's the fucking point of doing this? For what? Like, you gotta break your back for these corporations to do what? Unless they pay you like some millions, and then I'll say, oh, you know what? I'll do put my video skills to good use and start doing it. But I can't do it, bro. Something in my bone just wants me to be a prick. Maybe it's the Muslim in me. It just wants to spontaneously combust. I don't know what it is, but it's just, I can't do it. But yeah, I always fan the flames of that beef. I'm just a dick like that. I am publicly, I've been on your side. I know Paris hates it. You might be watching Stealth Watches. He stealth watches all the time. And,
I try to leave it alone, but every time I see the fakeness, and it's like I gotta say something.
We're in the same spaces, man. You have to. Like, I tried to leave fucking Colin Moriarty alone, but he pisses me right off every time I see his mug. So I'm like, all right, I have to go. It's just something about it. I just want to murk him. It's the same thing with Paris. But I do think Paris was wrong with what in his reaction. I think it's just really soft. Like a Dr. Omar gift because his wife is white. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. That's not like, cancer of gaming shit. Come on, cancer of gaming is a raw thing to say for what you did, which is nothing.
He uses that line with he uses that line with a lot of people though. So anytime somebody does something that he doesn't justify as holy and righteous, oh, you're the cancer of gaming. That's his favorite line. And so it's that shit don't matter to me. But no, like, come on, bro. Like the joke I made.
So calm. I just don't get it to this day.
Compared to the jokes I've made on here, my god, bro, that was like a 0.5 out of 10.
Bro, that's not even.
It was such a lighthearted, non-malicious joke, and he got all and it's due to insecurity. It's an absolute insecurity why he got mad about it.
I think,
and I can guess what the insecurity is.
I think
it's an insecurity. Only insecure people get mad at that joke that I made. So it's cool.
Well, Paris, I appreciate that you're not here. So maybe you might want to offer a rebuttal. I don't have a 3-man overlay, although I would love if you came in and just watched the fireworks go because I'm just a drama merchant like that. But at the same time, I will say publicly, I will always say, even if we sat next to each other, I know that there'll be a back and forth and he'll shout at you and you shout at him. Well, not even shout, you're not a shouty people, but you'll be like, and I would say, Paris, man. It was a fucking joke, and it was a calm one at that. You got vexed. Don't be mad, bro. Like, it's okay. But I don't know how we went to that tangent. Before we go to the next topic, I just want to quickly plug, and not paid for this, by the way, because I'm a terrible businessman. But this is Thomas Sala reached out to me, the guy who made Bulwark. He goes, look, he's been working hard. He's got an update coming out Monday. Can you just promote it? And I said just before, like an hour before the stream, I said, bro, I'll play the trailer of it. So chat, I'm just playing the trailer. Check it out. If you want to get high and play a game that's super chill. Apparently this is the game is mad. I'm not just saying it. Just check people who play it. And that's what it's known for. But here it is. Play the trailer now.
From the clouds they dive, the screams of battle in their lungs.
Falconeers and escorts, defend our ship.
They find each other in the dark embrace of the cold sea.
I'll tell you later. That was it. That was Bulwark Chronicles. Just check it out. The Falconeer Bulwark Chronicles. It's supposed to be really good. This is my first promotion I've done live. Didn't get paid. Let me just not that you need to pay me, Thomas. He gave me a code. He said try it out and let us know what you think. I said if you want me to do a review, just know that it'll be pretty critical. I did a review for a dev that we had. He was actually all right about it, but it was pretty critical. And everyone who I won't mention which game. Everyone had it on their podcast. They had this guy on their podcast who like, he's great, he's a really nice guy. And everyone, this is where I found out, BG, they sucked his dick, and the game wasn't even that good. They sucked it off so bad. 10 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s. I was like, bro. Like, I was talking to my buddy Mo. I'm like, I can't believe this. Like, you are the guys who are talking about, IGN is biased and this and that, and then you gave this game a 9 or a 10 because this guy's been chummy with you. You exemplify everything that's wrong with the industry while you're barking about it. But I thought one is a disservice to the guy who made the game, and this is always the case. I'm going on a little tangent again, but this is always the case with when I was like at law students, they said mark my paper, and I'd critically mark it, or like paralegal, and then they get pissed off at me, and then they use that paper and get an A. I'm like, bro, do you want me to tell you the wrong stuff so you get fail? Do you want me to, like, because that's what pricks do? Or you want to be a good, even if I was your, like, say, a friend, be scathing and critical so I can get meaningful feedback so I can then do better. But people are, it's just stupid. It's not hypercharged. But yeah, people are fake like that, man. It's just, I don't know. I don't get it. It's just lame. I want to talk to you about this. This was actually originally what I wanted to talk to you about, but I didn't get a chance to talk to Gene Park about at the time last week. Black Myth Wukong. Has it been money hatted, or is this not like, is this a symptom of Xbox being completely murked? So to add fuel to the fire, so there were some rumors being circulating around Microsoft. I think Jez was saying that inferred or implied from a statement from Microsoft that, you know, we can't comment on the marketing deals of our partners or something, which kind of people kind of assumed that, hold on, that's a bit crazy. Then Paul Tassi from the Forbes added fuel to the fire and said he's hearing that this is a little thing that they're a backdoor marketing deal from Sony, which wouldn't surprise me, by the way. And then we had Eurogamer also corroborate reports, and they're saying that they've also heard that that's the case. And I'll just read out what they said. So Eurogamer says that so yeah, we've also heard the same ourselves from sources with good knowledge of the situation, and the fact that Microsoft also heavily hinted at such a deal being placed adds extra weight. A lot of people are saying that, well, why is it not being marketed like other games like Stellar Blade and whatnot? But they were saying that the reality is exclusivity deals can take many shapes and forms and don't necessarily need to include marketing. Speaking to someone, say Semi, and I don't want to name the names, but you can take that as a grain of salt if you want. But they're also heavily hinting at what the reality was. This and I don't genuinely look. BG, this is not damage control. I just want to make it clear that my position is this. So what? If PlayStation did it, so what? Why is Xbox so soft? Why is Xbox so? Microsoft has a bankroll, can buy out Sony. You want to be a victim for Microsoft, and it pisses me off so much when Phil Spencer tries to galvanize the Xbox fans by saying slimy platform things, or like, they tried to do things to take us away from the market. Like, it's like, oh no, shit, really? I'm sorry, Phil. But what I'm hearing is, like, basically the developers were prioritizing PC first, PC development, and then Sony, who had the foresight to look at the game and said, you know what, we have good quality assurance and we've got a keen eye for good games from third parties. They approached them and they said, look, can you prioritize a PlayStation port for this, or a console port? And as a symptom of that was that, look, just prioritize the PlayStation 1 and don't worry about the Xbox One, because fuck Xbox anyway. I would do the same thing. You gave me the money for Sony. I'm like, well, bro, we gave you the money and we've incentivized you to push it. Why are you making? Don't bring the games there. Fuck that. What do you think? What do you think actually happened? And what's your stance?
Yeah, I don't like this story. Is like, it's like, bro, it doesn't even matter. It's like the whether they did or whether they didn't was like very inconsequential, because the result of it is the same.
Yeah,
the majority of copies would have sold on PC and PlayStation, and the least amount would have been Xbox. That's just plain old facts.
Yeah. Whether
they, either way it went. So I'm like, what does it matter? So I don't get why it's such a big story. If PlayStation did, yeah, they have the power to do that. They have the leverage. They have the leverage to do that. That's what you can do when you're the market leader. That's what you can do when you have, when your console sells. That's what you can do when your reputation and you have the relationship, when you have the international relationship with different studios and different brands because you are the bigger brand in gaming. Yeah, you can throw your weight around. Microsoft did it when Xbox had the privilege of throwing their weight around during the 360 and PS3 generation, as they should.
Yeah.
When you have power, you should throw it around.
Yeah.
So I hate when people act like there's some type of integrity in these situations. Who gives a fuck about integrity?
I'm
Like,
a bit of
what
an
do you-
old school. I do like a little bit of that. Okay, if you're gonna have a more honorable battle, but even if you don't, I'm like, be ferocious. I'll be ferocious. I'm like, I can comment on that. This is a dick move. You just threw money out there, like Xbox. You can say with consolidation, but I thought at the same time, I appreciate the ferocity of that move. Although I will say there's ups and downs to both of that. But you're right. I know what you're like, bro. You have no fucking soul. You're like heartless as fuck. You're like, just give me the results. Give me the results. I don't care. Fuck the devs.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, I'm veering towards that now as well.
Yes. So it's like, okay, if they did, all right, cool, I guess. I don't feel negatively about it. I don't feel no way about it. If they didn't, then it could lead to some type of point to, ongoing issues with either communication with Xbox or the Series S, the infamous Series S, argument. It's either one of those, because it's either communication that developers have said they've had issues with Microsoft, or it's technical issues with the Series S.
Or both.
Yeah, or both. So it's like, bro, either way, it's a problem on Xbox's part, because timed exclusives, whether intentional or not, work when it's done right.
Yeah.
Right. They do their job,
Yeah.
because one, the developers, when they see where their games sell the most, that's the platform they're going to want to have the best relationship with.
Yeah.
Moving forward. So if you're selling scraps on a platform like Xbox where it's negligible, bro, it's like, okay, I don't really care if we miss out on any the revenue that we would have made from this platform isn't going to make or break us. It's not going to make us any richer. It's not going to make a difference for us. So it's like we can ignore that. So that's probably how they look at it, and the timed exclusivity works, because if you're like the console, if it's a console exclusive but it's still on PC, you can still extract everything out of those games, because most game sales happen within like the first 2 months.
Yeah.
So you're going to extract all the sales out of that, and then the competition is literally going to get scraps for the few thousands of people who then play it. So yeah, it's just that recently, when like they're in the Xbox One era, and now when Xbox has done time exclusivity deals, they don't do it right. They've done it right before during like the 360 era, but they don't do it right. They don't do it right anymore. It's not the same. So
right.
It's funny because Microsoft and Xbox, they're the $1 trillion company acting like they're getting bullied. You can't, and that's the thing. You can't tell me that, oh, we bought ABK for $70 billion, but we're also getting bullied. Bro, that don't fly. That don't fly. You're not getting bullied by Sony. That's come on, don't give me that. Sony is just going hard, and I think the big difference it comes down to is PlayStation. If the PlayStation brand dies, you could already argue a huge part of Sony dies.
Yes, it would.
If the Xbox brand dies, Microsoft is completely okay.
Yep.
So Sony is way more invested into the PlayStation because it's their lifeline than Microsoft is on Xbox, because they don't depend on that shit for survival. Like Xbox is like a side hobby.
Yep.
Gaming is a side hobby for Microsoft, and and you see the difference in that.
Bro, there's absolutely, you do. It's playing out in front of us. You can see it. Xbox treats gaming like a side chick, and it's there. Even with the trillions, even with the $70 billion deal, they capitulated to multiplat, all of that bollocks. Why? They don't care. Almost every metric they flop really hard, because there was an idea for Xbox had a core group of leaders who believed in that gaming vision, and they delivered, in my opinion, two great gens. The two great gens. Typically, it happens at the inception of a thing anyway. The most passionate people will get involved. They will work hard, and they will make sure, like we had James Allard fighting with Bill Gates face to face, literally the father of Microsoft. Everyone's saying, oh, Satya Nadella, they had to make money. Yeah, James Allard told Bill Gates stormed out of the freaking building because James Allard, we're not going to put Microsoft OS on this. Fuck that. No, it's not going to work. But Phil Spencer's just like sat here and he's talking bollocks about, oh, if we don't, I hear this thing that has pissed me off so much. This is my video. I hear this idea that if we make good games, that will change the needle. And we've seen that, and it doesn't do that. I'm like, bro, when have you consistently done that through in an appreciable amount of time? Have you done that?
I mean,
no.
well,
so who are you talking
360.
about? Yeah, exactly. Not since 360.
Yeah.
Not since 360. Bro, they spunk $70 billion deals, and then they cry about how Sony making them feel smaller. How Sony uses that money that they, when they do put games out on PlayStation, to actively hurt Xbox, which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, are they your competitors? Are they not?
Yeah.
What are they gonna give you massages, or are they not? Why then are you making your games there?
One of the executives, the marketing executives, on it was so insane when he tweeted out. I think it was a tweet. No, or it might have just been an interview where he was like, yeah, we don't have the money to do the same type of marketing. I think he specifically said that Sony does.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you don't. Microsoft, a Microsoft executive is telling you that we don't have the money to do that type of huge marketing for our games that PlayStation does. And of course, I know what he means. Microsoft has the money, but Xbox isn't allocated that money.
Exactly.
And which proves once again, gaming is not this huge priority for Microsoft, because obviously Microsoft overall makes more money than Sony, but Sony allocates a huge amount of money to marketing their games.
Yeah.
You see it. It's a fucking event when they market their releases. So like it's and Microsoft, and like their marketed team is like, yo, we're a startup. We're a startup, bro. We got to do our advertising by sticks and putting sticks and gum and staples together and uploading it to YouTube. Like we're a scrappy content creator just starting out. And like that's wild for them. I feel bad for them.
It's insane. What more can you say? The proof is in the pudding. Like, and there it is, and everything's collapsed as a result. This is why, in many ways, I do admire Sony for actually taking on Goliath, but Goliath was never really committed to the fight in the first place, and that's that dwindling spirit of competition. When there was some like leaks on the FTC stuff, I'm like, oh, maybe there is an appetite. I was surprised when I read that. Oh shit, outspend Sony out of business. Matt Booty's talking my language now. Like, he's actually ferocious. Oh no, wait a minute. He's just been sidelined because Phil Spencer's going to report to Satya Nadella, who immediately reports that he has bonuses cut and he doesn't care about exclusivity. Microsoft's like, when Phil Spencer says, when everybody plays, we all win. I just want to punch that brother, man. That is just such bollocks. So and it's come to the fore, like the console war. It was just Xbox guys gonna hate me, but this is my next video. Is that Xbox lost the console war and Xbox lost. The idea of Xbox to me has lost. I'm not saying like Game Pass, Xbox is shit and all of that, but for me as a platform, Xbox, the spirit is just down the toilet, and we're seeing it now. Microsoft, big bad Microsoft, is kind of like overridden Xbox. But it was an interesting story and development of Xbox, and I'm almost talking about it in the past tense, but for me the old Xbox is dead, so I do talk about it in past tense because I think people need to resign to the reality of it. But there's a question to be had about what that means for Sony. Even though Sony desperately does need PlayStation, I have more faith in PlayStation sticking to what it needs to do gaming right without a competitor to hold their feet to the fire. I think they may be spelling bad news for PlayStation as well. Like, yeah,
it's not good. Like what Xbox waving the white flag and what Satya and Phil Spencer are doing is not good for anybody.
Yes, absolutely.
Because regardless of how much competition Xbox was for PlayStation, even though they haven't been much. Competition is competition. It's still that situation where, bro, at any point, it doesn't seem like things could turn now, but you know, when you actually have like somebody who's a competitor like nipping at your heels and still challenging you, you got to be like, okay, we have to stay on point, and we have to keep making products to shit on our competitor.
Yep.
But now if they are essentially looking at Xbox like, oh, they've completely forfeited. There is no threat at all whatsoever that we have to be worried about. Now PlayStation can coast. They're like, and then that results in us, the consumer, getting a little bit less. Yeah. Like I still think PlayStation, as we've seen, you know, they still release a bunch of highly rated games, but that I think just the emergency switch in their head that they have to keep their foot on the pedal. It's like, oh, we can relax a bit. It's all right. That's how we can relax. That's the problem.
That summed up so well. That's exactly what I would be if I was Sony. We're like, all right, PlayStation 5 Pro, $800. But we'll talk about, actually, let's talk about that now. That's a good segue into that topic. PlayStation 5 Pro, bro. You're going to get it, obviously. I might get it as well. I probably will get it. I don't know if I'll get it day one, but I will get it because I want to play it. Play Astro Bot. Well, actually, I might play Astro Bot tomorrow. But PlayStation 5 Pro is going to be revealed next week. Finally, we're going to get to see this in the state of play. It's basically happened, by the way. It's happening. Next week, we're going to see it. Now, you're talking about Sony easing off the gas pedal. I think that will actually have a ramification directly. These conversations, if I'm at the board, I'm like, right, well, Microsoft's kind of doing this broad brush approach. We now have carte blanche, and the fact that Microsoft's not doing a mid-gen console. So, not that they're a threat anyway, because we're murking them and hardware sales. What do we price this thing at? And I think they're going to price it quite high, because the price of freaking... The PlayStation is still increasing in price, man. Like in Japan, how does that work? Like the PS5 Pro, where do you think it's going to settle on price?
Since I think the reports are saying it's going to be digital and not have a physical, you know, would increase the price. I still say probably like 600. So $599. Because they seem to care about not selling anything at a loss, and regardless of how much it sells, they want to make, you know, money on each one sold. And they understand this thing is not supposed to sell a whole lot. That's not the intention, really. PS4 Pro, I think they estimated it sold between 10 and 15 million. So these things, they understand it's not for the general consumer. It's for the fiends, like me, who care about every little pixel, who care about every little frame, care about getting every little benefit that I possibly can when I'm playing on console. So it's not like people talk about like, oh, if you price it at this, it's, you know, it may not sell. This thing isn't meant to sell as much as a base PS5. It's not meant for that. Yeah. It's literally
squeezing the juice out of the hardcore.
It's an option for like 5% of people, 5 to 10% of what the total console of PS5 will sell in its lifetime. So it's fine. It's not meant to be this cheap, accessible thing. So when they already know what it'll probably sell, and once again, that's like 5 to 10% of the install base. So yeah, I think 600.
600. It wouldn't surprise me if they do 700 for the digital. It just wouldn't surprise me. Bro, we saw people during... Well, COVID is like a different market, but people paying God knows what. And you saw some people, spending... Well, the people that were spending it were actually probably your more mainstream mom and dads for their kids during Christmas, whereas this is going to be a little bit more of the hardcore discerning ones, not the mom and dad. Well, mostly it'll be, the hardcore gamers. And they may be having a ceiling where they think it's acceptable. But I reckon it wouldn't surprise me if Sony went $700 for the digital one.
I think that price tag just looks wild, but go ahead.
It does look wild. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Like even looking at the number, but $699 looks better. I don't know.
That looks wild.
Yeah, it does look.
But like, and I always got to say this because people in the if you care about frame rate and resolution, I have a PC. I have a 4070 Ti. I mostly game on PC. Like the majority of games I play are on PC, but my console is for exclusives. I'm not waiting 2 years to play a game I want to play, 1 to 2 years, whatever. I don't wait to play games. So unless, there's some games where I'm like, I don't want to play it that bad. I'll wait for it to come to PC. But console games, exclusives that are not on PC day one, I play those on console. So that's to me why I still have a console. And the shit. Listen, I'm not one of those people who thinks like PC is the answer to all the gaming problems. Neither is console. That's why I think PC is the best. I mean, PC and console is the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. Like anybody who thinks that one is the answer to all, I think you're full of shit, bro. I tried to boot up. Because I bought Space Marine, the anniversary edition, right?
Yeah.
Because that's like their little re-release, so people who didn't play the first one can play it again on PC. I bought it, wouldn't boot up.
Why?
Just wouldn't. It would boot up to the screen and then crash immediately. And anybody who plays on PC knows, what do you got to do after that? Oh, you got to get on Google and you got to go down 50 Reddit threads, see what the problem is. Oh, what's the problem? Oh, it could be 10 million different things. Bro, I'm not about to sit here for the next 2 hours to try to boot up one game. Yeah. No. So in those type of situations, when that happens, that's why you got to back up on console. When consoles games are multiplats are running like dog shit, that's what you got a PC for. So just had to put that out there.
No, it's true. I don't know why. It's not a one size fits all thing.
No.
Like, when I talk about moving to PC, I'm talking about my primary machine. But I was talking to my friends, and they always do the opposite of what I tell them to. So this last gen, I said buy PS4. They ended up buying an Xbox because they liked Kinect because it's mainstream. And then this gen, I was like, get a Series X. It's going to be a really good Game Pass and all that bollocks. And then they bought a PlayStation. And next gen, and I told them all the games are coming to the PlayStation. Now the next gen, I've said buy a PlayStation. Don't buy whatever the next Xbox is. He goes, oh no, but it's like, I like what Microsoft's doing. And it's like, these people are weird. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but as the idea that you stick to one thing and one thing only doesn't make sense. Console with a PC is the ultimate model for that precise that reason. Best, but if the ports work, that's the problem with the PC versions. You get shafted because a lot of PC ports tend to be crap. But PC and PlayStation is the model if you are an Xbox fan and you have the money to go, but Xbox guys, as you've seen, PC ports can be shit off Xbox games as well, like Forza and whatnot. But yeah, in terms of the look roadmap, I need to talk to you about roadmap.
I gotta go answer my doorbell real quick.
No, do your thing. 2
minutes.
While you're here, chat, shout out to 205 of you. Let me play some tunes. No, I can't do that. I'll mess up everything. Shout out to you. Hit the like button. And make some memes. Can I solo? Wait. Shit, I just fucked up. No. Oh, I just did that again. I'm back. While we're here, I want to plug this guy, Thomas Salah's game. Thomas Salah, if you're watching it, I'm plugging your game. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm telling you, I'm not being paid for this. Is Bulwark Chronicles, Falconeer. It looks dank. It's too late. He's back. Thomas Salah. It's a great game. Just get it. So, roadmap. BG, I want to talk to you about roadmap. You said PlayStation is allowed to have one off year. I actually think the off year has actually turned out to be a good year because you got Astro Bot, which is we'll talk about in the next, which has surprised a lot of people. I think it surprised you even. But roadmap, if they have a state of play, you're showing off this next console. are you telling me that you would be okay with them not showing off a single brand new, never seen before for PlayStation first party title? Would you be okay with that? You think that's a good state of play to show off the PlayStation 5 Pro?
No, I definitely want to see some games. Absolutely.
No,
Gotta show some new games.
So you have to show. So just one? One isn't good enough for you?
I think they said this is supposed to be and also like a first party state of play, ain't it? So I'm expecting. I think it's due time for Sucker Punch to show their next game. They've been quiet, absolutely quiet for 4 years, 4 or 5 years. So it seems like they've been heads down. That Blue Point's game, of course, they did the Demon Souls remake, but since then they've been absolutely quiet. They're supposed to be working on a new IP. It might be too soon for Bend, but maybe they say something. So I'm definitely expecting something new. Like we're getting to the latter half
That's what I was gonna
of
say.
the generation. Yeah.
But
I'm
bro,
definitely
this could be actually a killer show. Last time I said this, I got murked for vouching for Sony. So, but I don't care anymore. I reckon this could be a potential. I'll get murked again on it. I reckon it's going to be a mad show. You're not only showing hardware, you got Ghost of Tsushima 2, which everyone knows that's what they're making.
Yeah.
If this show that I loved Ghost of Tsushima, man, I thought it was criminally underrated. If your Metacritic doesn't, if it matters to you, that will just blow people away like instantly. So that's how. I don't think that alone will pacify the roadmap, because I think Sony's had a pretty anemic shows for God knows how many years, bro. You have not seen anything. Death Stranding will be shown. I guarantee that. Yeah. So that's good. And it looks amazing. Ghost of Tsushima, and I just think, and I reckon they'll show Wolverine as well. But if they showed those three alone, I still don't think that's good enough. Wolverine, Ghost of Tsushima 2, and Death Stranding 2, it's not good enough. Like, in terms of, like, roadmap, like, bro, Sony's not done anything for ages, bro. They've done how many times every time you've voted a state of play? It's just been 2s and 3s and 4s for the last 3 years.
Yeah, I've hated damn near all of their state of plays this generation.
So that comes with a burden, though, right? You said that Sony can have a one-off year when it comes to game releases, but the same logic has to apply to showing off new games, no?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because they've had like terrible showcases almost all generation, but the actual when the year when you get to the end of the year and you looked at what they released, it's like, bro, your game releases are better than your showcases.
Yeah, because of shit.
So, yeah, which doesn't. It's like, oh, how is that happening, right? Because it's like, okay, this year you can give them credit for Helldivers 2. They own that. That's second party. And then Astro Bot. And then, I guess, the Horizon Lego game that's gonna be out. And I give like half points for like things that are second party and third party exclusives. I don't give them full credit for that.
Okay, yeah.
So So when you look at it, it's like, how come like you're at the end of the year, the content you put out is actually pretty decent, or pretty better than that. But every year your shows are garbage, and it's kind of like it's not matching up, and that could be because they are doing this thing where they don't want to show off anything they're not releasing in like the next 12 months, almost like that thing Xbox tried to do, which I hate, because before, remember, PlayStation used to announce a game 4 years out.
Yeah.
They was fine with doing that, and I didn't mind that. I was okay with that. But now, I guess to protect themselves from certain things, if they're not absolutely sure, and this thing is at the end of development, it's like they don't even want to mention that it exists. Like, we're not even acknowledging this game exists until we know at least the season of the year it's going to come out, and I don't like that. And I think that's why their showcases are suffering.
Yeah. But ultimately, you're right, because Ghost of Tsushima 2, we don't even know if it exists officially. Has that been announced officially? No.
No, not even a leak. I don't even understand how they haven't like gotten a leak.
Bruh. All of Insomniac's future generations leaked, but we still don't know Ghost of Tsushima 2 is a thing. But you're right. Although I do think that a lot of the reason why PlayStation's deliver cross-gen, man. I'm sorry, bro. Like Ragnarok. Anyway, I'm not gonna go down this conversation with you, but I want a strong showcase. I not just the bot in me demanding it. I'm just like really. I just feel like you need to deliver this time. You've kept on.
Yeah.
This is the one. This is the one. If you're gonna reveal the new bit of hardware, what I don't want to see is a bunch of people like, oh, so what? And I got this already actually on Twitter. Oh, so what? You're gonna run it at 60 FPS? That's the whole point of the Pro. I'm like, bro, you sat and excused mediocre state of plays all for like 5 or 3 years, God knows how long, and now you reveal the next bit of hardware, and you're at year 4 of the generation. I want to see what these studios are doing. We know they're cooking.
Yeah.
So show them. And I think they will. So
if they're smart, I mean, and they show the gameplay, I would expect that I don't know if it would. I don't know if they do this, but it would be smart to put running on This is running on PS5 Pro at the bottom of it or something like that.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's a good point actually. Yeah. You need to show off the Pro. Yeah, the Pro version.
Yeah, and I just think that like regardless of what you feel about PlayStation and their games and their generation, I think everybody can admit they do their best work in the second half of the generation. That's when every single generation, no matter how bad they start, the last 4 years has always been incredible for them. It's absolutely incredible.
As I was saying there, sir, when I had Colt on, he's like, we know that the last few years are going to be mad for PlayStation. Yeah. And it's all set up like this. It's already, the setup is there. The layup is there. We know Insomniac stuff is going to come later on as well. We know Ghost of Tsushima. It depends on how long the generation lasts, but the PS5 Pro is blatantly extending that, in my opinion. And
yeah, I think this generation needs to be longer.
Well, it will be longer because who's going to incentivize them to go quicker? Not Microsoft. Even if Xbox goes early and does a 2026 console, so what? If PlayStation don't need to do it, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah, because I remember the PS3 360 generation. I remember the last 2.5 years of it. I remember all of us was like, Jesus Christ, this is lagging. Like every day felt like 1,000 years. Like, yo, I can't wait to get out of this generation. Yeah. But now I feel like, man, y'all can add 1.5 to 2 years to this generation, and I would be okay with that. Of course, that makes the consoles feel, you start to feel their age a little bit more. But since it's also taking developers longer to make a game, I feel like it's required. I feel like you need at least an extra year or so everybody can get a chance to, because a team releasing one game in a generation is nuts. That is nuts. And some of them are on pace to do that.
Naughty Dog. Come on, man. One game a gen. That's mad. Yeah. That's mad, bro. I hope that all that shit changes with game dev, and I think it will. But, that's a great point. And I think it will extend. It's quite interesting what Microsoft... a lot of people are saying that Microsoft will go early 2026. They're already talking about their next gen hardware. Sarah Bonds talked about it. But will it make a difference? I don't know, but I think it'd be great if they do, though, because what's the point of Microsoft always getting eclipsed anyway by Sony? And it just changes things a little bit. But if you think about the development landscape, if Microsoft reveals its next gen in 2026, Sony's gonna go maybe 2 years later. What happens for games? They're still gonna be cross-gen. They're still gonna be, Microsoft may have exclusives that run better timed, but then PlayStation will get those games later anyway. They won't run as well as the Xbox console version, which is what it should be normally. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you, actually. If the PS5 has a Pro version and the console version is good and the Pro isn't shit and is doing what it needs to and giving us consistent 60 FPS, which remains to be seen, by the way, then I don't mind the generation being extended. But that's a good point.
Yeah.
Now, the main topic of the day, like, BG, you are normally pretty spot on with your predictions on meta scores, man. Like, almost to a scary degree of accuracy. But this time I beat you out. Out. Astro Bot got 94 on Metacritic, man. And I knew this was... Bro, I looked at it. I even tweeted out, like, this is nin. And then the Nintendo guys came at me, which I discovered the other fan base that are crazy. When they first revealed it on the State of Play or wherever, I tweeted out, I said, Studio Gobo, what is it called? What are they called? Asobi.
Yeah.
Okay, Asobi. I'm like, they're showing near Nintendo levels of prowess. Just you could see. I loved your reaction, by the way, when you were like, "Near Nintendo, are you seeing what they're doing? Copyright," because it looked like a Nintendo game. But Astro Bot has come out, and a lot of journalists, including like Jeff Grubb and loads of people, are saying this is the best PlayStation exclusive Sony has ever made. Now, you may not agree with that because you have a particular taste, but I understand why they've made that statement. Do you know why Nintendo gets its flowers? Well, you probably you do know, but I'm just users, everyone. It's because the Nintendo taps into the core nucleus of what we consider gaming, like gaming mechanics, gaming platforming, that dopamine release of pure gaming. And we always thought it was exclusively in the remit of Nintendo to deliver this, barring some platformers here and there. But Ratchet was a nice, pretty, like, cinematic kind of Pixar kind of thing, but it didn't do that kind of core gameplay. Like, you could see it. Fonzarelli's telling me in chat, Gaz, you need to play this game. This game is incredible, man. Like, it's mechanically just crazy. And with Astro Bot, it looks like what Nintendo could do if it didn't have shit hardware. And Sony did it. Like, so Sony did it. This is it. Like, this does so many things in one go. It cements Sony as it's got a mascot now. It's a cute mascot, and that mascot is going to be blown wide apart. I think the sales will be fine. There's a lot of conversation about whether or not it's going to sell or not. I think it'll be fine in terms of sales. I don't know why people are crying about that. But it also puts pressure on Nintendo, where for the first time, they have thoroughly been, on the technical front, been outdone in their own arena in terms of the technical prowess of this platformer. So, bro, did you see Nick Marseille, the little piece of shit, bald-headed, just leaks? Nick Marseille, I know you're watching this, you bastardo. What you have to? The Discord stays for Discord, but I knew he was gonna do it. He has no boundaries. He even leaks my DMs on WhatsApp. But you see my reaction in my Discord about Astro Bot, and I'm going on a rant here. I'm just going on a tangent because I've seen so much shit of this. I call it Paris Lee says, bring back Banjo and Xbox fans. Are you fucking stupid, man? Banjo-Kazooie, bro. Like, do you think it's going to be relevant in this day and age? Really? Everyone's got this nostalgia. Like, oh yeah, but Conker's fan. Okay, maybe, but what did Astro Bot do mechanically? And they can do Banjo. You can bring Conker. I would love that for Conker. I hate Banjo, but it's fine. But Sony did something special. I gave them respect, and it deserves respect because this is pure gaming design, and they just smashed it out of the park. And more than other games, man. More than like the Sad Dad games, whatever. That scripted, heavy, story-based stuff. I respect this. This game I respect more than any other, and I haven't even played it yet. But if I don't think my opinion will change, but I respect this PlayStation exclusive more than any other PlayStation exclusive in the past.
Yeah, it seems like what they did was marry the artistic and creative side and the gameplay mechanic side perfectly with Astro Bot, because I shit on like Media Molecule a lot because the reason I don't like that studio, I was never a fan of Little Big Planet and Sackboy because I felt like Media Molecule just tries to make art, but I don't think they try to make games.
Yeah.
And that's why I never liked that studio.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's just a lot of and that other studio that PlayStation shut down that made that game that was just about you're the graffiti artist. It was their other like a first party studio that had like 10 people in it. I already forgot the name of them. That was another game where it wasn't like mechanically rich. It was like this artistic game. And I'm like, yeah, Pixel Opus. And I'm like, people do, and I'm like, dreams failed because people want to play games, bro.
Yeah.
Pixel Opus got shut down because people want to play games. You can have art and creativity, but it needs to be a game. And that's what Astro Bot is. So yeah, I mean, I only haven't touched it yet because I play one game at a time and I'm at the end of Space Marine 2, but as soon as I'm done with that, I'm getting to Astro, and I think it'll do very, very well. I think the sales will do well. And yeah, I think it's definitely, I don't think mascots are needed anymore, but I think this is something that can be easily marketed and you associate with the PlayStation brand going forward.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's just great for them. And and it just shows that sometimes you got to take a step back and restart to make something great, because as we know, people complained about, I called them the Japan studio grifters. People complained about Japan studios. Oh, they shut down Japan studios. Bro, nobody was buying Japan studios games. I bought like all of their recent games before they got shut down. I bought all of them.
I like Gravity Rush.
I know. Yeah, I love Platinum Gravity Rush. But at the same time, I can acknowledge that, bro, nobody was buying their games. So yes, they got shut down. It's like, bro, it's not a charity. Y'all want to be upset. Like there's these tweets that have like millions of retweets and likes. Oh, we hate you because you shut down Japan studios, bro. How a million people like this? A million people didn't even buy their games. Like what the hell?
Would you apply the same logic to Tango Gameworks?
We don't know the sales for Hi-Fi Rush, but I guess the same. I think the same thing applies. People gotta really support, bro. Like and like, even if it's something you like, you have to understand why it got shut down. Y'all gotta support it. It's not a charity. But anyway, Astro Bot looks like. I didn't expect it. I said 89. Yeah. Because it's just so hard to get a 90 nowadays. So that's why I was like, yeah, another 89, 88.
My calculation was 90 plus PlayStation bias, 4.94. I'm playing. But no, I just knew this game was going to be smart. It's just, I could see it. Like some guy in the chat's like, oh, you're so fake, you didn't even play it, and you're saying it's going to be all that. You don't listen to all the words that are coming out of my mouth, man. You could tell like a game has the quality. Like it's like it just plays. Like this is the thing with platformers. The mechanics of the game, and they're mechanically rich. That's the core of gaming. That's why you remember that was It Takes Two. That game of the year is. Why? Because they had
one game of the year.
Yeah, because of trillions of game mechanics. It's like there's so many games in one game, all in this dual co-op experience, which is incredible. So yeah, that's what people don't understand, and so they, I think this is, and I knew the win was coming, and even before I was like, the win is there. This is the big one, and I think in the grand scheme of things, if you care about the console wars, I think it will be forgotten by a lot of people because people do look at the big, like, heavy, visually astounding game. But for me personally, I just rate the ingenuity of Studio Sobi or Soba. I don't know what you call them. I keep confusing them with the Soba. Sobi. So this is a big one, and I'm literally borrowing I gave my PS5 to my brother, and now I'm borrowing my mate's PS5 tomorrow until this Pro gets announced, and I'm gonna play this game after I complete the next game that I'm gonna talk about. The final game, and that is Warhammer, man. Warhammer 4K Space Marines 2, whatever the hell you call it. But I've never played a Warhammer game. but holy shit, I am enamored with this game, man. This game has... I've been playing it all day, bro. All of last night, all day today. I've almost completed it in like one sitting. I think I've almost completed it. I was telling you where I was in the game. But BG, man, this game looks mad. You're playing on PC, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing on PC. It looks like on the Series X performance mode, it looks crazy. I love the characters. I actually like them more than Gears of War because these characters, I don't know anything about them.
They're gonna jump you. They're gonna jump you.
Let them jump me, bro. I'm so used to getting molested by Xbox fans. I like them more than Gears of War. What? Do you know why, chat, before you jump me? It's like, I hate the dialogue in Gears of War. They were like, oh, it's like a Fast and Furious movie. Hey, dumb. Just cut through some gigantic tapeworm that you were spending the insides of. I almost died. And throw a little one quipper there. And I'm new to Warhammer, so maybe it's like this new, like, I'm completely oblivious to the lore. I love skulls, like, yeah, as you can tell. And the whole skull design, everything is a skull. Like the drone that is a skull. Like the designs of this brutalistic environment. Everyone's like, the universe is just raw. It reminds me of, like, if you watch Dune, and I really liked Getty Prime and the Harkonnens there because they're so dark and they're just foreboding. And in the world of Warhammer, I'm learning, is just dark, violent, and everyone's violent, and this crazy religion where it's just violent, and the bullshit, and there's no spoilers, but the subplots with your friends, like, you know, they'll have a little fit, and one has a little estrogen fucking breakdown, and has a fissy fit. In this one, if they disagree with you, they just go violent, and they just kill more things. But it's just beautiful. And for me personally, I prefer... I was talking to Zorka about it. I was like, bro, for Gears, and I know Gears is going to be incredible. Warhammer for me is just like, I reckon Gears of War, and most will disagree with me, and I'm sure someone's going to clip it, and I'm going to get so many people just tagging, hey, you're just an Xbox hater now. But I was thinking Gears developers might be looking at this and I'm like, holy shit, you know, like, they've done some really good bits here that we might want to copy. Like, with the spectacle of things, the melee. Like, I really like the melee in this game, man. Like, the parry, because I love parry systems. It's a good game. It's an exemplary game, by the way. And my reviews, I'm trying to hopefully get it out tomorrow. But in my view, this is such a good game. It took me by surprise. And a lot of people are like, oh, you just look, because it's the visuals. But the visuals and sound makes the source so nice. It matters so much. Sorry, I've just ranted and you're the guest here. BT, what do you think? What do you think of Space Marines 2?
Yeah, I mean, first, let me just say I don't agree with Gaz on the cast comparison, so don't jump me. I do think I don't like to compare it to Gears, only because, like, Gears has had like 6-7 games to perfect its craft. So I do think Gears is the better game. It's tighter. It plays, you know, it just plays very tight and precise, right? And the dynamic and the synergy between I can agree with you that this cast in Space Marine 2 is probably better than the new cast with Kate, JD, and I think most people agree with that, but not the orial cast.
No. Dom, come on, Dom made people cry, man. Let's be honest, man. Okay,
all right. Yeah, well, yeah, then you're right there. Yeah, and the tone is different. Like, Gears is kind of almost like buddy cop sometimes. Which is cool. This game is just very serious, and it has different inspirations because I didn't know that much about the Warhammer lore, but this has the sci-fi setting, but it's also has the religious inspiration injected into it, and it also has this almost like ancient history aspect to it. It's futuristic and also very archaic at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's just all these different like inspirations from it. And you have like designs that look like they're from ancient Egypt.
Yeah. It's weird.
But it's futuristic and it's religious and it has just all these different inspirations. As far as the gameplay, the mechanics need to be tightened up a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, it's this hodgepodge of melee combat, shooting, parrying, and you typically don't see like parrying and stuff like that, and melee on this level in a shooter, right, in a third-person shooter. Usually, like melee is just like some one-hit thing.
Yeah.
But the melee is just much more in depth with how it's used, right? It's almost like a hack and slash. They make it, and it's dynamic, and you switch between shooting and melee and parrying and all that stuff. So it almost plays like an action adventure game sometimes. And the game, and I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, so I think some of the flaws are being exposed a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because the game has some high highs and some low lows. Like there's this part where you have a flame. This is not spoilers, but you have a flamethrower, and it's so fucking bad. Just there's this part where you have a flamethrower, and the shit they got you doing with the flamethrower is not what you really expect. Like they make using a flamethrower very boring. And some of the boss fights are pretty dry, right? They're not very dynamic and like not very well thought out, and just like it's a lot of the boss fights literally, it literally like, yo, put a million bullets in this boss. That's all you can do.
Yep.
There's nothing else. There's no like weak point to the boss. There's no strategy to actually take it down. It's like, bro, just shoot it as much as you can. Keep shooting. It's like, bro, y'all could have been a little bit more imaginative than this. So the boss fights aren't great, but the moment-to-moment combat, it's just, and the sound effects and the sound design, it's great. The executions, like you can do executions on these enemies, like so put a chain, and you know, that's similar to Gears, put a chainsaw through them, and you know, a sword, cut them in half, and like, you know, just break their neck. The executions are amazing. You get like a jetpack at some points and things like that. So yeah, it's not without its flaws. It's not this absolutely amazing game, because it definitely has its flaws. I admit I might like it a little bit more. I have a bias towards cover shooters. And the thing about this game is like, it's not a cover shooter, but they put you in these situations where, bro, I need some fucking cover. Okay, I'm just out here raw dog, and the game throws a large amount of enemy, like a large fucking amount of enemies at you. That's why you can slash through them and shit like that. And it's like, bro, I need fucking cover. But that's where the dynamic of the mechanic of when you execute enemies and when you count and when you parry them and shoot them back, you get health back, you get your armor back. So that's so it's not just melee. It's not just no rhyme or reason to it where you just shoot melee and and it's brainless. You need to know into melee to get your health back. You need to time the parries properly, which is a little bit janky at first, but you get used to it. So yeah, I really like the game. I think it's worth it. It's worth playing. I wouldn't say I bought the premium, the deluxe edition for like $80. I wouldn't say it's worth that for most people, but I would say, like, if there's a sale or something, definitely a game you need to play. Absolutely a game you need to play.
Oh yeah, in fact, I would actually tell people buy full price. For me, it took me by surprise. I didn't know one, it would have a full-on proper story with cutscenes and everything. This is a full-on proper story mode, like with decent cutscenes. You see the visuals and you expect to be downgraded, but the game's visuals are astounding. Like the spectacle of these battlefields, you just I'm photo mode all the time. I'm just like taking photos and it's recording. It's such a good. I tweeted out today, like, for years we imagined playing a sci-fi game with this kind of fidelity in our minds. You know, when you're a kid or what you want to growing up or whatever. Now, like in a space marine. Like, I've never knew anything about Warhammer, but when I saw the characters, they always looked cool to me. I'm not going to go to those Warhammer stores, because you go there, you just retrofit your virginity, bro, because that is a place I will not go. Because Warhammer guys, man, that's on another level of nerd level. I can't even venture there. But I always loved the character designs. I just thought these are amazing. And now I want to read the lore, because there's obviously something really cool and unique there. And you're right, it's not an exemplary game, but what it does do, it does really well, and there's reason behind it. Like, even the executions look cool, but like you mentioned, it gets your health back. So you are kind of I'm not playing on the hardest. I'm playing the one before the hardest difficulty. So I know which one you're talking about. Those flying things with the freaking lasers, they're the worst enemy in the game, man. The hardest enemy in the game. They just don't die it, and just like just can't even hide. It's homing missiles.
One thing that became very clear to me is like, so this is a game that you could play through the story by yourself or in co-op, right?
Yeah.
But the flaw in it is like, this game is actually designed more for co-op. You have your two teammates with you and they're bots and everything, and they help you, you know, to the best of their programming.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, this is definitely more leaning towards design for co-op than single player, because one thing people should know is like, bro, it plays more like a 7th gen game, because it's literally, bro, shoot all these enemies, kill them, go here, press this button, shoot a whole bunch of more enemies, and then go do this. That type of basic objective in game design in a shooter. And if that's a problem for you, then you may have an issue with that. But I've been loving games that play more like the 7th gen. That's why I like Wukong. Wukong it's wide linear. I love linear games. I've always had, but they're like more rare nowadays, right? Because everything is a de facto open world game, and it makes me sick with all this bloat. So whenever there's a linear game that comes through, I get excited about it. Oh
same.
God!
And I used to be the opposite. Yeah, same.
Oh, a game I could beat in 10 hours? Oh, nut.
Same.
Nut.
Same.
Like I love that shit. I don't like these some of these, I call them new gen gamers that may have just started gaming last gen, where they think if the game ain't good, if I can't drop 60 hours in it, I'm like, all right, you could feel that way. I like both. I like some of my games 50, but I love some of my games being even 5 to 10 hours.
Bro,
and
I will take the 5 to 10 hours.
Yeah, and this is one of those 10-hour games, but it's definitely designed for co-op, because some of the objectives that they give you, right? Okay, protect this platform. Okay, cool, no problem. But the problem is, okay, it's protect this platform, but
fight hundreds of people.
But also fight all these millions of enemies, but also do this.
Yeah.
So they give you 3 objectives, and you as the single player is like, bro, that's fucked. I can't do that. So I'm like, oh, this is why it's really a co-op game.
Yeah, you're right.
Because if I was playing with 2 other people, one person would be protecting the platform, the other one would be shooting all the incoming waves, the other one would be doing this.
Yeah.
But me as the lone single player gamer, the way I'm playing it, I'm like, yo, I got to do fucking everything. So just know that, you know, it's really designed for, it's a great game, but it is really designed for, you know, co-op.
It definitely is. I played with Cole, and we had some great, that was so much fun, just even experiencing it for the first time with Cole, and we were like, holy shit, what is this? Like, this the spectacle of it, because we'd be like, wow, this is amazing. But we never did the kind of, now I came to, you know, when they're biting off the chains and you have to protect that with the chains and all these freaking things. And you've got ranged enemies and you've got melee combat. It's like, bro, this is a nightmare. Bro, you're doing the hardest. I'm doing the one before the hardest. I would have broken my controller some of these bits, man. There's one bit that threw, like, you know, the main, and you know, a game throws the boss at you like a normal enemy. That's what I hate that. So it was you're right there. It definitely is a co-op game, but it's a great game, and my review should be out hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah, I played the bit of the multiplayer. It's very basic and straightforward, but I like basic and straightforward. You know, it's like, once again, it's just very 7th gen style and design of making a game. And if you like that, then you'll like the operations, which is the co-op. You'll like the campaign. You'll like the multiplayer. No, it's really no frills. There's no like extra frills in this game. They keep it very straightforward, and you know, it is what it is, and I like it. Less is more.
No, absolutely. I need to try the PvP actually, because that would be my kind of jam. But this game has put that. I don't even know who the studio are, but they put them on the map for me, because it's amazing.
It's not Deep Silver.
I don't know what
I know
it's called.
It's Focus Home. It's Focus Home Interactive, I think.
Okay, but it's just amazing. Like I said, this is one of the best looking games I've ever played in my life. Like it just genuinely, the spectacle of it all is visually really good. It works well on the Series X for the most part. You do get stutters and whatnot, and it does go down to like 40s in some bits where there's a shit ton of enemies. But it's a breath of fresh air, and I just love this game. So it's like it's come at the right time for me. And then to play this and then jump to Astro Bot, it's going to be a really fun kind of experience for me. So yeah, man, that's Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing the name right, but definitely check it out. It's a great game. I should see Woolly Gamer getting lambasted for saying don't buy this game. He was like, your Concord review, bro, shut the fuck up.
I don't understand what his problem with this game was. But I read some of it. I was like, bro, what? But I think some people are just going to look at this game and think and look at it negatively, because if you compare it to what contemporary games do now, and you think like most or all games should play like that, then you'll find a problem with this game, right? It's kind of like how, like, for example, there's some people who think like Dead Space is one of my favorite series. Like I absolutely love Dead Space, bro.
That's amazing.
But there's some people who look at Dead Space as like basic. There are like there's some people who look at Dead Space like basic, like it's not doing enough, like it has to do, like they just want games to do all these extra things and all these extra mechanics, and it's like, bro, sometimes a game does not need all that extra shit in it. It's not needed.
No, it's perfect. What in its simplicity, it's perfect. It actually suits what it's trying to do. Did you like Callisto Protocol?
I thought it was janky. I beat it, but I thought, like, I didn't like the whole focus on melee. That was my problem with it.
You could later on change your build to be more weapon based.
Yeah. My thing is, like, bro, I just wanted y'all to kind of make a Dead Space copy. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, listen, I'm okay with somebody making a copy of another game with a little bit of your own sauce and a little bit of your own, like, distinguishable elements in it. But, like, bro, I felt like, okay, I felt like they were like, we have to make it somehow real different. And how are we gonna do that? Oh, let's focus on melee. Like, no, just make it another shooter like Dead Space.
Yeah, I thought a lot of people would be happy with that. I actually really liked it. Edible and play that game is insane at the end, especially near the end game. But it's just it didn't need to be anything else. And I get what you mean about a lot of people wanting it to be some, I don't know what else. This simple kind of game. We have so many abundance of games. That's why I like Space Marines too. It's just like simple co-op, shoot stuff, and beautiful. And I want more of that. These guys, like, I think at the end of this gen, I'll remember Callisto Protocol. For me is quite fond. Returnal will be a fond one. You're gonna laugh at this, but Sekiro, because I only played it a gen late. Yeah. It's gonna be there. It's probably my top 10 of all time. And I think this game has left an impression for like a refreshing one, along with Sifu, those kind of games.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, so it's a good year. Like, I can't prescribe to the notion that it's a bad year or gaming is bad, because it's just there's so much goodness we've got already. Sifu,
yeah, it's
Return.
A lot of people got to be self-aware that of bad year for gaming versus these just aren't the games that I like.
Yes,
there's a difference. Yes. Yeah. There's a difference. Like last year to me was one of the best years in gaming ever. Just the amount of
it was
quality and quantity.
Yeah,
I was like, yo, that was one of the best years in gaming ever last year, right? Yeah. But to some people don't feel that way, because there was a bunch of games that, like, don't really fit their preference. I'm like, cool, it comes down to that, but you have to be able to understand, okay, these are not the games I like, so it's not that the generation or the year's bad. It's just not my cup of tea. But like this year I've only beaten like 5 games, which is low for me. Last year I beat like 25.
That's crazy.
and might finish out at like 10 because there just haven't been that many games this year to me where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely playing and beating that. But I don't consider this year bad.
Yeah.
There's just been like, what was it? Dogma? Dragon's Dogma came out. Was that this year
Yeah.
it came out?
Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, like that's not really my type of shit. But I acknowledge that was a great game that came out this year, and there was been a bunch of other stuff.
You tried it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Normally, I hate
but-
that kind of orcs and shit, but that game got me. I need to complete that. But that's a fucking long game. I don't think I can go back to that. I'm not like you. I should be like you. I try to be like you, but wait till you get a little bit older. Yeah, then you can't stick to one game, but otherwise you just don't game, and then do multiplayer. How do you do that? But you're right. You're right. It is down to taste. But I feel like at the end of the gen, if you don't like a lot of games, then I have to question what kind of narrow genre of games you do like that you're not being catered for the entirety of the gen. But it remains to be seen. Before we go, Christian5916, thank you for the $5 super chat. He goes, I love that both of you are critical of your favorite brand when they do shit instead of saying everything is okay. Thank you for that. And that won't change. It's just in our nature, especially yours. You'll call it the way it is.
I say in my head I'm gonna try to be nicer, but
Why?
I mean, like even just the other day, one of the Concord devs tweeted, "Oh, I love my team. We made something special." And I replied with a meme. I was like, "Sure about that, buddy?" I was like, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. That's mean. But I'm like, I just don't like when people lie to themselves. Like, come on, you created something special, cut it out, bro. Like people, like I understand when you create something, you're very passionate about it, and like it's your baby. But if you create a piece of shit, you should be able to understand that. Listen, this was dog shit.
Yeah.
There's videos that I've created where I'm like, maybe at the time I thought it was okay, and then I go back and look at it. I'm like, yo, that video is a piece of fucking garbage.
Bro, I do
Anything
that all
I
the time.
create.
I do that all the time. I can't even watch my old content. I'm like, oh, this is shit. Like I find myself like annoying in my videos. But you know what that is? Do you know what that is? I reckon me and you had very similar kind of like parents are quite like tough on us. Mm-hmm. I feel like that a lot of people are quite soft. I always wonder that. I'm like, I reckon like BG and I had like similar kind of parents who were just kind of.
Yeah, I just don't see no value in like lying to yourself and thinking what you created is something amazing. Like,
that's the new gen kind of like defeatist that's going to funnel that you're going to fool yourself and you're never going to escalate or improve upon that. And I've not been brought up that way. Just been and told the reality of things, and you just got to be a bit harsh with yourself so you can be better positioned to deliver and improve on yourself. You keep giving yourself gold medals in the face of abject failure, and that's what it is, failure. Then
it is.
I don't know what
you can't coddle these Concord devs. You can't coddle Firewalk, because if they really just put this shield around themselves to thinking, oh, everybody else was wrong about Concord. We're the only ones in the world that were right. Everybody else is wrong. They're not going to learn from it. They're going to continue in their little bubble thinking they did nothing wrong with making this game. Where no, sorry, you made a shit game and we need you to correct it. Maybe learn from it. I mean, Sony's layoffs are coming. Best believe they're about to lay off half that studio if they don't get shut down. The layoff is coming. Maybe they give them a chance, like, hey, take a smaller budget. Let's see what game you can make maybe in 4 years. Maybe they get that chance, and maybe that's even a reach. So
I don't think they will. I think what's going to happen is they're going to swallow up like they did with Bungie. So because the talent is needed for multiplayer, they've obviously got like some baseline talent, not on the creative side of things or in terms of design. They'll swallow up, reassign some people. People will be getting laid off, which is harsh, but that's the reality of life. And that's how I knew, the guy who made Ready at Dawn, Andrew Pacino, when he made the Order 886, all he did on social media was excuse it and tell everyone, you don't get it, this is my game. And he would just retweet all the positive reviews. I'm like, bro, you will never make a good game because you're just complete and ready. I reckon all 1886 had potential. If you fixed the shit, you could have a potential sequel that could have just completely done the right things. But the person has already resigned to failure by that attitude. So
yeah, the Days Gone developer is the
He's gone off
writer
the deep end.
John Garvin. Bro, that dude is in deep denial. Oh, our game, he's still arguing about it to this day. I'm like, bro, the game came out 5 years ago. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. He's still arguing with people about Days Gone now. Oh no, the game failed because people sabotaged us, because people were against us. The Illuminati plotted on us. I'm like, bro, you got to let this go. It is not good for you. It is not healthy. The game wasn't it. Like it sold well, really. It's 10 million, but I didn't like it.
yeah.
You gotta let it go. You gotta let that hurt go. Seek therapy. Get better,
Bro. I actually might try and get him on the show actually, because I want to ask him this question. And I will ask him this. Remember this. I will ask him this. I'm like, aren't you resigning yourself to your legacy being the guy who just cries about the inequity of Days Gone? And like, do you want to live like that? If it was me, I can't do that. Yeah. I'm like, I don't want my story to end this way. I don't want to be that guy. I need to be something like with a positive. Like, cannot. Today, I think today or yesterday, he was arguing with someone about the Astro Bot used one of the deacon from the game in the game. It's like, there's.
Oh god.
I was like, bro, like. You'd be pissed if they didn't use it. Like, oh yeah, so I guess my game wasn't good enough. And now you're arguing that it is used. Like, you could tell, like, it's getting. He
is the salty, jilted ex, bro, and he gotta get over it, bro. Like you.
I can feel for him.
They're not with you no more.
But the thing is, there's enough meat there though to think that he did sell a lot. So I can see the narrative playing in his head. And he did say that for 6 hours the game just goes good. Apparently, I haven't played it, so I don't know. But I'll get him on, John Garvin. Maybe he has, but I'm pretty sure he's kind of resigned to that, which is a bit sad. Anyway, chat, thank you so much for tuning in, and that was a great show, BG. This is a very different kind of like-minded individuals from opposite sides of the console. Why are you shaking your head?
I'm looking at the tweet you were talking about. I didn't see this before, but bro, he looks so fucking salty, dog. Oh my, he's really crying online, bro. I feel so sorry for this fucking dude, bro.
I do, man. But that's why I want to have that conversation with him. And I said, John, stop it. I will say it to him. I said, John,
that boy crashing out bad. He going out sad out here.
Yeah, he really is, and I feel sorry for him. Like, if you have the ability and you've given up on it, then that's your rest of your life. You're going to be salty. Or fix it somehow. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me how. But you have the talent. Start a new team. Build a spiritual Days Gone 2, like the Back for Blood, like they did with the team which didn't actually end up being good, like Left 4 Dead. But do something. I feel sorry for him. Anyway, chat, thank you so much for people listening on Spotify and all those different podcast platforms that I don't even know where they are. Thank you so much. Smash the like button on the way out. BG, I hope you had a good time, man. It was a pleasure. I had a great time.
Thanks for inviting me, man. Great times. Check out Weapon Wheel Podcast on Sundays.
Weapon Wheel tomorrow, where you'll find the only person who speaks the truth is Jack Move. My favorite.
Shout out to Jack.
Shout out to Jack, man. I can't wait to have him on again. Thank you again, BG. We're going to sign out, and we will see you very soon. Peace. Peace. I think we are...